All right, what's going on, everybody? A happy Wednesday, happy hump day. Hope everybody's doing great out there, PTL Nation. Those of you that are watching on the YouTube page at PTL Radio Show. And of course, the FM AM dial KSHP. You can hear us pushing the limits.live, the website, Really American Network. We appreciate all you guys being a part of the show. Now, obviously, there's a lot of serious news to get to. What has transpired in Minnesota, this shooting that took place at this Catholic school in a church nearby is absolutely tragic. And we're going to give you all the latest details on that coming up here in just a few minutes. And, of course, a lot of other breaking news to get to as well. Donald Trump, again, wanting to send troops out to Chicago, out to Baltimore. We're going to continue to monitor that situation. But as I told all of you yesterday, there was a possibility that we could get the President of the United States on the line with us today. And without further ado, I don't want to make him wait anymore. The 47th and 45th President, Donald J. Trump, joining us right now on the show.
And can you hear me, Brian?
I do.
Can you hear me?
I do. I hear you.
President for life. President for life. I want people to start saying that regularly.
Wow.
Regularly.
Are you going to go for a third term, Mr. President? Is that true?
Well, you know what? I don't need to go for a third term. If there's no elections, there's no reason to have a third term. I'm just going to stay in place. And you know what, Brian?
Yeah.
I said it yesterday and the day before. People like dictators. They like dictators, and I'm a great dictator. And crime is down everywhere.
Really?
Crime is down everywhere. Well, everywhere that we're sending our fantastic troops, they're doing so. They're not only cleaning up crime in D.C., they're cleaning up the trash. Did you see that? I've got them doing janitorial duty.
I did not. I saw you.
And they're picking up duty too. They're picking up duty because horrible people.
Is that what the National Guard? Is that what the National Guard is trying to do? Pick up poop, though, Mr. President?
They're picking up poop. Isn't that great? That's how you start, by the way. That the social fabrics are breaking down when all these people with these pit bulls. I think we know who we're talking about. They let their dogs poop everywhere.
Mr. President, I have to ask you about Cracker Barrel. If I wouldn't be mistaken,
I won another victory. Is this incredible? That's 11 wars I've solved. That's 11.
11. Wow, that's that. So Cracker Barrel was a war? I didn't know that. Wow.
It was a culture war, Brian. It was a culture war. They wanted to remove the old guy who was protecting his family. Did you see that they took the whip out of the K? They took the whip out of the K, Brian.
I did.
It's so sad.
Why do you care why do you care? And why do your supporters care so much about Cracker Barrel? And I don't understand. Why do you care?
Because I love the poorly educated. I love the poorly educated, and they will follow me anywhere. Anything I say, they will do. They will do. And that's why I do this. I
have to ask you this, Mr. President. No offense, but why is it that you want to send all these troops into cities with black mayors? Some people say you're a racist.
Excuse me. They just happen to be the worst city. I love the black people. And I said that on Monday. I love the black people. They're great athletes. They're great entertainers. They run really fast. And I think football season is going to be absolutely fantastic. And by the way, as you heard yesterday, I saved college football.
You saved? How did you do that, Mr. President? I was unaware that.
I don't know. I didn't say that. One of the people in my cabinet did. They said a lot of nice things about me.
Really?
They said a lot of 2 hours. 2 hours of watching these people grovel. They already have the job.
Mr. President.
I hate when it comes to Robert Kennedy, though, because he's that drives me crazy. Really got to do something about that.
We agree on that, Mr. President. What is going on with these meetings that you held? You held this meeting yesterday, and it almost seemed like they were coddling to a dictator. It's very strange, Mr. President. Everyone goes around and they congratulate you. I don't know, Mr. President. Some people say it's.
They tell me how fantastic I am. They tell me how amazing I am. How I've saved this country. Who's my guy? The commerce guy, Nutlick. He's something else. He's something else.
Are Mr. President? Let's just be honest here. The other day you said you're not a dictator, and but it seems like you admire dictators like Putin and Kim Jong-un.
I love them. I love them. You know, Putin, he can kill journalists. I can't do that. Kim Jong-un can make people disappear. Oh, I'm starting to do that. I have to admit, I am starting to do that. But we're getting rid of the bad people. You see, John Bolton's house was raided.
Yeah, I saw that.
He was raided. Yeah, he's a terrible guy, John Bolton. Who would hire that guy other than me? I mean, who would hire that?
That's
guy?
right. You did hire him. What is this Ghislaine Maxwell stuff? We got to talk about this, Mr. President. One of the biggest sex traffickers.
Are we still talking about Ghislaine Maxwell? Why don't we talk about Cracker Barrel again? I think there's more to that story.
All right. I mean, we could start talking about Cracker Barrel again, but Mr. President, the only reason why I bring that up is because she was sent to like a Club Med facility. Like
I had nothing to do with that.
Nothing
to do with that.
Nothing.
I didn't even know about that. I found out about it the day after. You know, I don't get involved with anything like that.
Of course not.
It's not like Pam Bondi's attached to my hip or gargling, my private parts.
Is there anybody in the administration that is, Mr. President?
Oh, they all are, really. It's really incredible.
Interesting.
It's really incredible.
Interesting. They're all pulling Monica Lewinsky's. Well, if you're just joining us.
That's a good one, Brian.
Yeah, I'm a funny guy.
That girl got a raw deal. She got a raw deal.
She really did. If you're just joining us, it's such an honor. The 45th and 47th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, joining us on the line. He wants to talk about Cracker Barrel some more. But, there's a lot of other things, Mr. President, that we could be talking about.
Things.
Yeah, Gavin, Mr. President, let's talk about Gavin Newsom for a moment.
Gavin Newsom, his state. His state is like, whoa, I have to tell you, we're the fifth largest economy in the world. Not without me, you're not, Gavin. Not without me. And he's ripping off my greatest items, my Bible, my gold sneakers, hats. I mean, it's really disgusting. It's all about money with him and selling tchotchkes. You know what I mean? And he doesn't even do it right. And did you see those ridiculous graphics of him with the muscles and the hair?
But Mr. President, that's what your supporters... Well, Mr. President, that's what a lot of your supporters do to you. They make you Superman.
Excuse me, Brian. Excuse me. They do that. I don't do that. Newsom is doing that. I'm not doing that. Who did I make a poster of me with ripped muscles on the front of a train? No. That was my supporters. He's got some 24-year-old social media girl making these things up, and he's probably doing things to her, too, because he's also one of those. You know that.
No,
Him and Ghislaine were probably very, very close, but I don't want to talk about her. I'm sick of talking about her.
Yeah, let's talk about your daughter instead, Ivanka. I know you like talking.
She's something else. She's amazing. She's really so incredible. She's like me with different plumbing. You know what I'm saying? And people say like, oh, it's disgusting. You want to date your daughter. Well, don't you want to date yourself? I want to date me. It just happens to be a woman.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I wouldn't want to date myself. Why do you make fun of like other people that are obese? Like you've done this with other, like Pritzker.
Oh, that fat Pritzker, whatever the hell his name is. What a pig. What a pig. Tub of lard. I call him Chinella.
But Mr.
His AC1 is WTF. Do you believe this guy? His blood is made out of ragu. This guy. It's unbelievable.
His AC1. I think it's A1C. But Mr. President, you're not exactly completely fit either. Why do you make fun of other people?
Excuse me. I weigh 238 pounds. I'm a superb athlete. Did you know that the PGA was begging me to go pro, begging me. And I said, well, I have to tell you I would, but I have to fix this country first. And then maybe I'll play golf on the seniors tour with Chicky Rodriguez.
You won't
Chicky Rodriguez.
I think he's dead.
Legally,
I think he's dead. I thought. Yeah, I think.
Oh, that's a shame. I liked him. His penis wasn't as big as Jack Nicholson, Jack Nicholas. But for a Puerto Rican guy, he had a decent-sized wiener.
Yeah, fair enough, Mr. President. I know you have small hands, and a lot of Democrats like to point that out.
I have big hands. What are you talking about? I have billionaire hands.
Billionaire hands.
And right now they're huge because they're saying the edema makes them larger.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. But speaking of billionaires.
Now they're really big. The edema. And I have bilateral edema in my cankle. in my ankle.
Yeah, how's your health, Mr. President? What's going on with your ankles and your hand? Can you give us an update?
Well, for somebody my age, I'm in fantastic health. What do? Play 2 rounds of golf every weekend. I have a hot wife, smoking hot wife. I mean, look at Biden's wife, Dr. Jill. She's not even a doctor. It's like Dr. Phil. He's not even a doctor either. That's why I let him on the ice rink. Now we've got Dean Cain, and now we have Superman. Isn't that great? Yeah. Great Dean Cain, one of the finest actors of our generation. I think Sean Penn and Dean Cain when I think of great actors.
Yeah, Dean Cain is. He should win. He should have multiple Oscars. I certainly agree, Mr. President.
He should get a Nobel Prize.
Somebody on social media wanted to remind you. You were talking about Arnold Palmer's wiener not that long ago. Is that who you were?
Was it Arnold? I thought I was talking about Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, I think you made some comments about how large Arnold Palmer's. Yeah.
Really? Was it Arnold Palmer?
Yeah.
Because, I thought it was Jack Nicholson.
Maybe, are you okay, Mr. President? Because it sounds like you're a little forgetful and a lot of people are concerned about your health. I'm not, but a lot of people.
I have a lot on my mind. I got Tim Apple coming to the office today to give me another gift. It's unbelievable.
Wow, that's incredible.
Did you see what he gave me? He gave me a gold bar.
I saw that.
With an apple thing in it. I threw it away and kept the base because who gives a crap about a plexiglass apple? Oh my God!
Last
Give
question.
Me something I can use. Did you see the thing from FIFA?
I did.
See the thing from FIFA? Oh my God! It weighs like 20 pounds. They told me it's solid gold.
Solid gold. Wow, that's impressive, Mr. President. I guess I know you're very busy. We'll let you go, Mr. President. But I guess
there's really nothing going on. Everything's on autopilot now.
Nothing else going on. I mean, can you give us an update though on what's going on with your talks with Vladimir Putin and Zelensky? Because this is a big story. And we want to know what's going on.
This is an incredible story. I have told them both I don't like what's going on. And I think they get it now. I said, I don't like this. And Putin was he even made a look. And I think we're going to get this resolved in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks.
I've never heard that one before. All right. So 2 weeks, Mr. President. Well, Mr. President.
And we're going to have health care in 2 weeks.
Oh, we don't have health care. Oh,
we're going to get the infrastructure bill done in 2 weeks.
I think Joe Biden already got that done.
It's going to be a busy 2 weeks, by the way.
I think it will. Well, Mr. President, I always appreciate it when you take some time to join us. Can you please toss the phone over, just like you tossed those paper towels? Can you toss the phone over to John DiDomenico, please?
All right, here he is. Hello. Hey, Brian.
John, what's going on, my friend?
It's hard to keep up. You and I discussed this yesterday. It's hard to keep up.
Everyone's saying that was a very brilliant performance, as usual. It's the gift that keeps on giving. And he keeps on giving you material to talk about. But I know you were upset that Cracker Barrel didn't stick to its guns, for lack of a better term.
I cannot believe they folded. It's just going to make it worse. It's just going to make it worse for them.
I think you're right about that.
But I think 6 months down, here's my actual prediction. 6 months down the road, they're just going to do it again.
You're probably right. He probably will. Oh, my God. Me and John.
They're going to time this with the next cancel culture thing from the right, and then they'll slip under the wire.
Yeah, I think that's most likely what will probably happen. So, John, a lot of my listeners, maybe next time, if you have the time to do it, and I so appreciate it when you come on, my listeners would like to ask you some questions next time. So maybe in your next.
I would love that. Yeah. Let's carve out some time for that.
Yeah.
I think that'd be incredible.
We'll do that. Maybe in September, we'll get you on and we'll have some of the listeners ask you some questions. I think that could be fun.
That'll be like my old press conference, which you attended.
I did.
And you asked the
great.
question. We used to have a blast with that.
You're so talented, so much fun. John, you are not only the best Donald Trump impersonator, but you're one of the funniest guys I know. It's always an honor having you on. Give out your socials. Mr. DiDomenico, before I let you go.
Everywhere you go, from land to sea, just look for the Johnny D Show, and you'll find me. You'll know it's me as soon as you land on the page.
John, you are the best, my friend. I love you, pal, and we'll have you on soon. Thank you so much. Okay.
All right, Brian. Thank you, pal.
Take care, John. Bye-bye. Is that guy the best or what? John DiDomenico, everybody. Now, I got to be honest with you. This is one of the harder transitions I've had to make in radio because I was almost considering moving John DiDomenico to another day, but I'm going to be on vacation tomorrow and Friday. but we have a lot of serious news to cover today. So let's get to that. Obviously, it's always fun with John. He's great. But it is Wednesday today. And of course, let me introduce the guy to my right. This is not sad. Leonard Cardinale, the longtime police officer lieutenant out of North Las Vegas, who is co-hosting with me today. Leonard, it's a pleasure to have you back on with me. How you doing, sir?
Great, Brian. It's been a tough morning.
It has.
A lot of sad news.
Sometimes it's good to laugh and get your mind off certain things, but I agree with you. It's been a tough morning. So as you know, Leonard, I woke up this morning pretty early preparing for the show, and I was going to talk about some other stuff to start the program. But we have another school shooting where at least 2 children, and I wish I didn't have to report this, but at least 2 children were killed in Minneapolis during a Catholic school mass to mark the first week of school. A deliberate act of violence, according to police. The shooter is dead. Children ranging at ages 6 and 14 are being treated for injuries. We heard stories of children lying on top of over other children to save their lives, and heroes. We're learning a little bit more about the shooter, and sadly enough, they're not talking about gun control, and they're not talking about ways you could prevent incidents like this from happening, but they're talking about the fact that the shooter might have been transgender and he hated Donald Trump. That's another part of this story that drives me absolutely nuts. First of all, I'll put an end to that right now. Less than 1% of mass shootings are caused by transgenders. It has nothing to do with the story. You're mentally ill because you're mentally ill.
Let's focus on the tragedy itself.
Less than 1%. And stop it with the thoughts and prayers, for lack of a better term, for Christ's sake. These innocent kids that lost their lives and all these kids that were shot and injured, they were praying at the time they were shot. So stop talking about thoughts and prayers. I've had it. Stop talking about transgenders, because these idiots on the far right, Ted Nugent being one of them, who I retweeted, that buffoon who's like, oh, well, look, it was a transgender that did this. But yet every single time, 99% of the time, it's not a transgender.
Well, the last 2 I can remember were not. There was no.
Yeah.
There was no LGBTQ trans type information. So in my mind, unless there's something in the manifest or something in his history that ties it in, it's irrelevant. He just happened to be a trans who was mentally ill, and he barricaded the doors. If you, I don't know if you know that or not, with 2x4s, so they could not escape. He shot through the window. 7 children are in critical condition. So, people out there, thoughts and prayers, send them to the family, to the children. It's going to be a rough day.
Well, Minneapolis has had its share of tragedies. We remember what happened to Democratic House Speaker Melissa Hortman and her husband. They were assassinated in their home. Of course, we know in 2020 the George Floyd murder, because that's exactly what it was. It was a murder, and that sparked nationwide backlash. But I can't imagine these kids, and that's what they are. They're young children, between kindergartners to 14 years old, that were praying in a church celebrating the first week of school, and then all of a sudden this nut job, who I suppose based on manifesto information was anti-Christian, anti-religion.
Was he anti-Trump?
I believe he was anti-Trump, but the reason why, at least in my eyes, it doesn't matter whether you're pro-Trump or anti-Trump, but the reason why I say that is because every single time a mass shooting happens, people on the far right salivate on the fact if somebody was anti-Trump, but if they're pro-Trump, they're silent. I don't care whether somebody is pro-Trump or anti-Trump. When you have a mass shooting, it shouldn't be about politics. It should be about policy. It should be about gun control. And all these idiots on social media, we got to do more when it comes to mental illness. I see a lot of these Republicans saying that. Then why do you guys vote against bills that the Democrats try to pass to allocate more money when it comes to healthcare and those that need help, and put money towards mental illness? So it's a load of crap. They'll talk about how the schools should have been locked, or the churches should have been locked, or we need more guns, not less guns. More guns make us safer. They'll blame transgenders. They'll blame Democrats when Democrats are the ones that are trying to pass the bills to make it safer.
They just took millions away from the veterans and their mental health. They took millions away, and they fired doctors and nurses and experts that helped them. And so I don't know what's wrong with the Republican Party or the MAGAs or their supporters, but they seem to be in a different reality where you can do these types of things and it's going to be okay.
And I guess what officials are saying is that the shooter fired through windows.
Yes.
And I just can't imagine the horror, even if you're a student that was shot but will survive, or even if you weren't shot, mentally, this is going to affect you for the rest of your life. And I just can't even imagine the pain that some of these families are going through right now.
They're going to be hyper vigilant for the rest of their lives. And the families are going to be in pain. The families that lost their children while they're praying.
You've been on the scene in your career.
Too many scenes.
Where there are fatalities, whether it be a shooting, and you've had to deal with those families, like literally probably minutes after they found out that their loved one passed away, right? I mean, what is that like to have to go through that?
It's the most difficult emotional interaction that you could possibly think of, because by the time we get there, it's already done. And if people lost their lives or committed suicide or were killed somehow, or it was an accident, I've done many accidents with fatalities. The important thing is you have to have the kind of personality where you can just keep it together for them, because they're looking for somebody to keep it together and try to explain to them what's going on. We can't give them all the information because we don't have it yet. They have a lot of questions, and in many cases, I had to call. We have a chaplain for the police department, and in many cases, I had to call the chaplain because they were so upset, or call some kind of mental health professionals to the scene that sit with the family, and sometimes overnight until the next day. They stay until the family is able to function. If you can even function after that. So it's very emotionally draining. But as a police officer, you have to be able to compartmentalize what comes next. So you have to be able to go on that scene. If you spend a few hours there, you have to go back on duty, and the next thing might be an argument at the cafeteria at school, or an elderly lady who has a cat stuck in a tree. So it's the full range of emotions, but one of the most difficult experiences of my entire life.
Yeah, I can't imagine how difficult that must be. And I see these images of these families and these mothers and fathers hugging their loved ones, and obviously that's a big sigh of relief. But then I think about a couple of those kids that will never be coming home. And I think about at least 17 others that were injured, many of them children. And their lives, I'm sure, will never be the same. And I don't understand, and a part of me does understand, why Republicans and Democrats can't come to the table. Because when Donald Trump says he wants to make these cities safer, the first thing that he should do is comprehensive background checks, gun control, things that would actually matter and work. And
universal background.
And I talk about these things, Leonard, every time there's a mass shooting. And the difference between me and so many of these people that think guns make us safer, and I call you people a bunch of idiots, is that we have more guns than people in this country. I think last I checked, the statistics were somewhere around 140 guns per 100 people. If more guns made us safer, we'd be the safest country in the world when it came to gun violence. We know that's not the case. In fact, we're one of the worst. So
by far.
I try to come up with solutions, right? And I try to come up with things that'll work. I'm not saying we should do all these things, but I think the age should be pushed up from 18 to 21. I'm not saying that would have stopped the shooting, but that's where we start. I think you need to have a class to learn how to shoot a weapon, to learn how to store a weapon. I think that guns should be treated the same as cars. And listen, I understand driving a car is not a right, it's a privilege. But at the same time, they need to check your eyesight and your health. You got to re-register your car. You don't have to re-register your gun. Why is that? That's the third thing I believe that we should do. Red flag laws are inconsistent from state to state. I'm not saying that anybody should be able to call the police and say, hey, this guy threatened me, and then just take your guns away. It's a case-by-case situation, but I don't think red flag laws are tough enough. And I also think if you sell a gun illegally, or if you're caught with a gun illegally, it should be some sort of mandatory prison sentence, and nobody should get probation for that.
Or if they're not locked up properly, if they're not put in a safe area, if children have access, or people who are not legally allowed to have access. And
lastly, I agree. And lastly, there was in the early 80s, a assault weapons ban that fizzled out. Violent crime when it comes to guns went way down. You could look at the statistics if you don't believe me, guys. And then when Republicans allowed that to fizzle out, violence went back up. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, well, Brian, most of the shootings in this country are from pistols, not assault weapons. Yes, but it seems to be these types of assault weapons that are the deadliest when it comes to the biggest mass shootings in this country.
It's the preferred weapon.
Right, when it comes to mass shootings. So why not do both? Why not deal with these mass shootings when it comes to these school shootings? And it seems to be AR-15 type weapons are always the weapon of choice, and address all the other gun violence that happens in this country. We should be able to do both at the same time. Alexa on the YouTube super chat says, now that they have cut VA benefits, Medicaid and Medicare Little House services are not going to be available, so it's only going to get worse. Well, I agree with you. When you're not helping people with their health care, and in some cases that are mentally ill, that need these drugs to be able to live, what's going to happen? There's going to be more violence.
I don't think they care. The big, beautiful bill cut out Medicaid, cut out Medicare. It affected Social Security, VA benefits. I think that mental health is important, but let me ask you this, Brian. If you have just under 340 million people in America and you have over 400 million guns, gun control, background checks, that would be helpful from this point forward. But you have a country that's infested with guns, and I think that maybe that's part of the problem.
I think that's absolutely part of the problem. And I want to open up the phone lines a little bit early today. I do have some audio that I'm going to play for you possibly a little bit later in the program. But I want to hear your thoughts on this. And I know there's probably a lot of MAGA Republicans out there listening that want to talk to me and get into the weeds on what an assault weapon is. Go ahead and do that if you'd like. But I also want to know what your solutions are to this problem. I don't want to hear thoughts and prayers. And the mayor of Minneapolis, I heard his statements this morning, and they echoed, they certainly rung true. I don't want to hear thoughts and prayers when some of these people and some of these children that lost their lives were literally people who were praying. I don't want to hear about God.
Children.
I don't want to hear about prayers or thoughts or any of that BS. I want to hear about solutions. What do we do about a growing problem in America? It's been going on for years when it comes to gun violence. What do we do about it? I've given you 5 or 6 different solutions. If you just give me 2 of those, I believe, Leonard, gun violence in this country would drop. I really believe that. It wouldn't solve everything, but I believe it would help.
Well, in Nevada, for instance, you used to have a blue card for every gun that you owned, and it had to be registered. Matter of fact, back when I first became a police officer, you could charge someone for not having a registered handgun in Nevada. So when the Republicans took over the legislature here briefly, 2015, 2017-ish, they did away. So you no longer need a blue card with your gun. You no longer need to have it registered. And the point I'm trying to make is, if you take less restrictions off, is that a good idea? Because I don't think it is. Every gun that I have is registered. I have permits to carry. I have a permit to carry anywhere in the United States because I'm a retired police officer. So I follow the rules. Give me a test. Give me some kind of registration guideline. So the people who are good people and doing it the right way, I don't think they mind red flag laws and having a universal background check. Because who's afraid of a universal background check? What kind of person?
No, I agree with you. So let's see what people think out there. Obviously, the MAGA Republicans out there think more guns make us safer.
You think they'll call in?
Makes you a complete imbecile if you think that, but you're welcome to state your case. All right, let's go to the phone lines. Again, that number is 702-221-7283. Let's start off with Brian. Brian is first up on PTL. Hey, Brian, what's going on?
Hello, Brian. Hello, Leonard. It's a little bit of a solemn day for me. I just wanted to, I hear everything going on, but I wanted to just pivot for a second.
Yeah.
And I wanted to profusely apologize to you, Brian, your staff, the PTL family. Yesterday, we had some idiots and clowns in the chat, and I stooped to their level.
Well, that's okay. You don't have to.
Said some things, and
it's okay. So listen,
and some people were not very happy with this, and I just
isn't
wanted
the
to
new
say
strategy
that
to
I'm
fight
really,
fire
really
with
sorry.
fire? Don't you want to fight fire with fire?
Well,
these are emotional.
I am. That's what I said, but I think these were emotional responses.
Well, we're in emotional times right now. There's no need to do that, Brian, but I appreciate that. What do you make about what took place in Minneapolis today? and innocent children, 6 and 14, and we have other children in the hospital right now that are fighting for their lives. There are children that will not be going home from school today, and yet MAGA Republicans want to attack transgenders today.
It's sad. This is a hall of sad reality that we live in, and my heart does go out to all the families and stuff. It is thoughts and prayers, but I'm so sick of saying that when stuff needs to be done. But what I see this is happening, or where I see this going, the blame game is about to take shape. Oh, it's a blue state. Oh, it's a blue city. Oh, you see those Democrats? That's what they do.
Already happened.
Yada, yada, yada.
Already happened.
When the majority of these types of cases happen in red states.
I remember when the New Orleans terrorist attack happened. That's what it really was. It was a terrorist attack by one individual. And they said it was somebody who crossed the border illegally. They blamed it on brown people. And it turned out the guy was born in the United States of America. And now, whether this person is transgender or not, who the hell cares? Whether this person was a Trump supporter or a Trump hater, who the hell cares? You think the families of these innocent children who have sadly died and were murdered care whether the shooter was a transgender or not? These people are so despicable. And if you go on social media right now, they will. It gives them an opportunity to attack transgenders. I say it once again: less than 1% of mass shootings in this country are carried out by transgenders. This is not a transgender problem. It might be a mental illness problem, sure, but it's a gun problem. And yet these idiot Republicans in this country don't care. They all have blood on their hands. They say more guns make us safer, and they have no solutions. And the few Republicans out there that say, man, we need to do more about mental health. Then why is it you guys never vote yes on bills by Democrats that'll allocate more funds for health care? You're against universal health care. That means you're against health care, including those that are mentally ill that need help. That's part of health care, you freaking bozos, you.
Yeah, they'll go on TV and they'll talk about their position, but when it comes down to it, they back down. They're bootlickers and they give in to whatever Trump wants, regardless of how they feel. I've seen them change their attitude in a day or two. Go on the news, talk about guns, gun safety, children being killed, and a couple of days later, kill a bill by the Democrats to try and shore up some gun control.
Brian, I appreciate your call, my friend. Thank you very much. 702-221-7283. Certainly emotions high today. More innocent children in school losing their lives. Let's go to Ken. Ken is next up on PTL. Hey, Ken, what's going on?
Gentlemen, there's only one way we're going to stop this. Show the dead bodies. Show the kids with their heads blown off in the bullet holes. And the tampons are for the bullet holes in school abortings. They're not shootings, they're abortings, because they aborted those kids. Okay? They aborted them.
I got to be honest with you, Ken.
America's ready for that.
I got to be honest with Ken. Ken, you're not going to like what I'm about to say.
It got us out of numb.
Ken,
that's what got us out of numb.
Ken, you can do.
Stop showing it.
Ken, they're gonna. If they did that, I guarantee you, many of these MAGA Republicans would still do nothing. I'm telling you, Ken, they would still do nothing. Look what happened to what's his name? Salik. What the hell is that guy's name? Republican congressman who was shot on the baseball field.
Yeah.
Oh, Solis.
Yeah. So that guy is pro-gun, and he almost lost his life.
I'm proud. I'm proud to be that way.
You had children that were decapitated at the Sandy Hook shooting when Barack Obama was president. Obama didn't have the House or the Senate. He pleaded with Republicans to do anything they could so they can pass some, gun laws that were reasonable, and Republicans said no. Yeah. These people, they preach religion and guns, and these innocent children were killed in church.
They were aborted.
It's sick, Ken. I'm with you 150%.
Thanks, Ken.
Ken,
not sure the news is ready to show. I mean, look at what they show about Gaza. They show you what's going on in Gaza.
Oh, you're right.
And it doesn't move the needle. It hasn't moved the needle at all.
It doesn't. You're right. Let's go to Gary. Gary is next up on PTL. Hey, Gary, what's up?
Not much, Brian. I'm up here in Central Valley, California, and I was an avid shooter at one point in my life. And here's a problem that makes a gun deadly is the bullet. Let's control the damn bullets. No responsible shooter would grumble, but he would account for his brass, every one of them.
Well,
If he wants to continue shooting.
Chris Rock might have said it best, and certainly there's nothing funny about this, but in a way I kind of agree with him. He said, why don't you charge $1,000 a bullet?
$5,000.
Yeah, or $5,000 a bullet, and then let's see.
There'd be no shooting.
Yeah, charge $5,000 a bullet, and I guess if you're a rich, wealthy billionaire, you can protect your home. But listen, I don't know. I'm not saying that's the answer, but something needs to be done. And I got to tell you, these Republicans have blood on their hands. And I'm wondering which Republicans will walk into the halls of Congress today and tomorrow with AR-15 pins, because they're disgraceful, despicable human beings. And the Lauren Boeberts of the world and these other complete trashy human beings will give their 5-year-olds an AR-15 to hold. I don't care whether it's not loaded, an AR-15 to hold in a Christmas photo, family photo. These are sick individuals. They talk about drag queen reading. They think drag queens are more dangerous to our children than guns. How do you talk to these people? They're not rational.
They didn't put 14 children in the hospital at a drag show.
Yeah, they're idiots. They're idiots. And look at all these morons on social media today that are attacking transgenders. You freaking bigot morons. You don't want to talk about gun control. You want to blame it on transgenders when they're less than 1% of the mass shootings in this country. Why do I keep having to repeat this over? Vivek Ramaswamy, who is a name that not many people are talking about anymore, rightfully so. Why is it that people like Vivek Ramaswamy continue to attack transgenders? Because you have a few of them that committed some of these horrible crimes. It's a joke. 702-221. Thank you for the call, my friend. I appreciate you. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Again, that number 702-221-SAVE. Let's go to Mark. Mark is next on PTL. What's up, Mark?
Hey, Brian. I usually say, buddy, don't feel like it right now. I am deeply saddened by seeing the most vulnerable of our race, the human race, being gunned down. If Biden or Obama was president at this time, they would probably have already been on TV making an announcement about how awful this tragedy is. When I think about Trump, and if he does make an announcement, I know it's not because he really cares. How could a person like Trump really care when he sexually
He'll make it political.
abused?
He'll make his comments political.
Right. 14-year-olds he sexually abused. He ruined them for life. And one of them just killed herself, right? Someone by the name of Tina.
Well, reportedly killed herself.
Yeah. Right. He killed herself. Oh, he has no soul. He doesn't care. And do not believe for 1 second that these Republicans are going to say a word, because the money that fills their pockets from the NRA is what speaks volumes.
Have you ever seen?
I'm just so sick.
Have you ever seen a Democrat running for office that bragged about their A+ rating from the NRA? It's only Republicans that are doing this, and the Democrats don't care. They don't want.
I am so sick, Brian.
No, I am too.
So sick.
I am too. These are
Mark,
innocent children.
Let me ask you a question, Mark.
Sure.
This is Leonard. Let me ask you a question. What kind of person would be against universal background checks? Like, who would be against that? Who would say, no, I don't think there should be a law that everyone in the United States who purchases
I'm going to tell you. I will tell you who. I own two pistols. I own a 9mm and a 357 Magnum. One is for house protection and one is for protection when I'm in the street. And I have a license to conceal in Pennsylvania. The people who are against, I'm all for all checks, every check. I'm for people having to go yearly to arrange and qualify. I'm for that. The people who are not who are not for that are the ones who think that more guns in the hands of people will stop violence. They don't care. They don't care.
Yeah, but their argument is not a good argument, because statistically, that is not accurate. And matter of fact, statistically, we have the most mass shootings on the entire planet, and no country even comes close. So the factual accuracy of having a lot of guns to be safe is not the truth. They're just using that. That's hyperbole. It's not accurate.
Yeah, and I'm not interested what the president has to say about this. I'm not interested in what any MAGA Republicans have to say about this, because it's the same time after every mass shooting. They want to blame it on liberal cities. They want to blame it on Democrats. They want to blame it on transgenders. No, You know who I put the blame on, besides the people who pull the trigger, obviously, are the people who vote against comprehensive health care, background checks, gun control, logical gun control. Those are called Republicans. Red flag laws. Those are called Republicans. Who's next on the show? 702-221-7283, the number to call. Let's go to Frank. Frank is next up on PTL. Hello, Frank.
Hello, Leonard and Brian. How are you doing today?
Good. What's on your mind?
I have a little story, a personal story about a gun issue in my life. I turned 21. I went out with a couple friends of mine because it was my birthday. We went to a bar because I wanted my first drink with them. This man that I had going into the bar after that was a redneck. He got drunk one night. He didn't like me. I asked him, like, what did I do wrong to you to make you hate me? He stumbled out to his car, came back in, brought his gun and stuck it to my head. I know what the feel of a gun to somebody, and thank God I'm alive today because he was talked out of it. So you know what? I'm so tired of this. Every time I turn around and I hear kids, not even adults of their life to live their life. This is wrong.
Frank,
So
you're right, Frank, and I lost all hope after the Sandy Hook shooting. I mean, obviously we had Columbine. I was in college then, and not saying it didn't happen before Sandy Hook. Obviously it did, but in Sandy Hook, it couldn't get any worse than that. You had a bunch of 8 and 9-year-olds that were decapitated, and Obama tried to do everything he could, and Republicans wouldn't give. So if it didn't happen back then, because I thought there was a chance that maybe Republicans would come around back then, it ain't going to happen now. These Republicans are sick. Let me be very clear, okay? And I'm going to go on a little bit of rant here. Forgive me, but let me be clear here. Republicans are not pro-life; they're anti-life. What do I mean by that? Republicans only seem to care about the child when it's in the womb. But as soon as that child is out in the world, they don't care. What do I mean by that? They literally vote against every government program that can protect that child and help that child. They vote against food stamps. They vote against welfare. They vote against maternity leave. Every single time. They don't want abortion, but once that child is born, they do nothing about gun control. The second leading cause of death in children under the age of 16. Leonard,
they don't care if the child's fed.
What do you think it is?
They don't care if the child lives in a comfortable environment.
Yep.
They don't care if they have what they need to live as a child, but they want to make sure. So they're only anti-birth, right?
Right. But what do you think is the number 2 leading cause?
Pro-birth.
What do you think is the number 2 leading
gun
cause?
Violence.
Guns. Number 1 is cancer. By the way, there are times that guns are number 1. Number 1 is cancer. Right behind that, guns. But yet MAGA Republicans out there, Leonard, want to say more guns make us safer. If that was the case, we would be the safest in the country. We have 140 guns per 100 people.
There's no statistics that says that more guns makes it safer. And literally, we're the most violent country by far.
Yeah.
No one's even close.
But for all you son of a bitches out there, because that's what you are, if you're attacking transgenders today, you are a son of a bitch, is what you are. I have a message for you.
They're just stupid people.
I have a message for you if you're going after transgenders. I seriously hope you get kidnapped and taken to Gaza. That's what I think about all of you.
Or Uganda.
I will send my prayers to God right now. If you are one of those people, you want to talk to me about thoughts and prayers? If you are one of those people today that is attacking transgenders for this shooting that took place in Minneapolis, I hope you get deported to Gaza on a one-way ticket. Because you are despicable and you are some of the dumbest that America has to offer. And I guarantee you, if you're one of those people that is attacking transgenders today, I am 100% sure that you did not vote for Kamala Harris. I am sick of all of you. And God rest your soul if something happens to you when it comes to guns. These Republicans are despicable. They are disgusting. Send them all to Alligator Alcatraz. These son of a bitches who show up in Congress with their AR-15 pins the day after the Parkland shooting. By the way, George Santos was one of those people.
Well, didn't they harass one of the main speakers of the shooting? at the school, Sandy Hook, I think it was. Didn't the Congress people surround him when he was trying to testify outside and kind of harass him? Why?
Yeah.
Why? He's trying to talk about gun safety and what we can do to save more children, and they're giving him a hard time.
Mm-hmm. So that's my message to you MAGA idiots out there, because so many of you don't want to do anything about this problem. In fact, you want to make it worse, make it easier for people to get their hands on guns. That idiot Ron DeSantis trying to pass a bill that make it legal for a felon 8 years out of prison to be able to legally buy a gun. You think these people care about kids? You think these people care? They'll talk about drag queens, yet they can't name one drag queen reading where an innocent child lost their life. But yet they don't want to talk about gun control, and these bozos and these buffoons like Ted Cruz. Oh, well, the back door should have been locked. Yeah, that'll be a deterrent. I'm sure if the door,
trying to sidestep the real issue.
Yeah, I'm sure if the door was locked at the church, I'm sure that would have stopped this guy from shooting through windows. These people are so pathetic and they're so disgusting, and they care more. They literally care more about remaining in power and their A+ rating from the NRA than children that are being decapitated.
And the money they get from the NRA. That's the key.
Yep. Number to call, by the way.
Millions and millions of dollars from the NRA.
Yeah, no, you're right. Number to call if you want to be a part of the conversation, by the way, is 702-221-7283. Let's go to Bobby. Bobby's next on PTL. What's up, Bobby?
All right, Brian, I think you're missing the big story today.
Okay. What's
The big
that?
story, I think, is that the woke won. We beat the woke. We got our Cracker Barrel back. We got the cracker and the barrel back in the logo.
Is this
Are
MAGA?
you being serious, Bobby? Does the Crackle Barrel thing really? I don't think he's joking. Is the Crackle Barrel story more important to you than these innocent children that were gunned down?
Well, it just shows that if you're woke, you go broke, and we beat you, and now you're coming back begging for us.
Okay, Bobby.
He didn't beat anybody.
Nothing we could do about the shootings.
They extorted money out of Cracker Barrel.
So, Bobby, let me get this right. You wake up this morning and you see there's a school shooting and innocent children die, and the first thing that enters your mind is Cracker Barrel? Are you being serious?
We won the Cracker Barrel war. It's great. We're going to get it back.
How old are you? Are you like 12 or 30? How old are you? How old are you? Like 11 or 12?
37.
You're not 37. There's no way.
You're 37.
You got to have common sense by the time you're 37.
You're 37 years old, and you're telling me that the Crackle Barrel thing is a victory, and you're so proud of that, and you don't want to discuss the school shooting that took place in Minneapolis.
Maybe you need some coffee to sober up.
Yeah,
sober up a little bit.
Let me guess.
The cracker and the barrel back.
Let me guess. You're a MAGA.
If they would have hardened the schools, if they would have given the teachers and the principals and the staff guns, these things won't happen, would they?
What are you talking about? There's security at
shot
schools
through the window. How the hell is somebody armed inside going to stop that? That makes no sense. Are you sure you're 37?
A lot of the other school shootings.
Sir, are you inebriated? Be honest with me. Are you drunk?
He sounds like he is.
Are you on drugs?
I think he needs some coffee.
Let me guess. You voted for Donald Trump, right?
Of course I did.
Oh, well, what a shocker. What a shocker that an idiot.
Good guess, Brian.
What a shocker that an imbecile.
I'll vote for him again.
Yeah, what a shocker that an imbecile bird for brain Trump supporter cares more about Cracker Barrel than innocent 8, 9-year-old kids that are shot. You're disgraceful. You are a disgraceful person.
If they would have knocked up in the schools, if they would have hardened them up.
What are you talking about? The kid. What are you talking about? This he shot through windows.
They could have had a security checkpoint. They literally, Bobby, they literally could have had a security checkpoint, and it wouldn't have mattered because he shot through the windows. There's no way to stop someone from doing that, even if the teachers were armed. Hold on, let me finish my thought, and then I'll let you speak. Well, maybe not so intelligently, but I'll let you speak. There was no way to stop this shooting, even if the teachers were armed, fully armed, even if there was a security checkpoint. The shooter actually put 2x4s on the exit doors, so when the children tried to escape, they couldn't get out. So he basically had them trapped in a box. So I really don't understand what you're talking about, because he was shooting people before anyone could have even gotten their gun out. Go ahead.
Well,
say something intelligent, please.
I think what you're missing
is
the fact that what about the other school shootings? They could have been hardened, and the school there could have had the teachers could have the guns.
What do you mean by hardened? Okay, so you think if all teachers were carrying guns?
I thought he said I was going to be able to talk.
All right. Well, you're killing me, but go ahead.
Well, I did say if you say something intelligent, I did qualify.
You're killing me.
This is intelligent.
Yeah, you sound very
The
intelligent.
other schools would have learned from it. This wouldn't have happened. Secondly, is that
what?
I don't remember about. I just know that was the woke lost. The woke got broke, and then they learned, and then we come back, and I'm hoping Trump in 28.
Would you have said this on 9/11? I'm just curious. Like you would talk about the woke go broke when 4,000 people lost their lives. I mean, what does it take for you to get your head out of the gutter or out of your ass and not care about something like a Cracker Barrel? Did anybody die because of Cracker Barrel putting out a logo that you disapprove of? Was anybody harmed because of that? We have kids that were shot and killed while they were in church today. Doesn't that bother you more than Cracker Barrel? What is wrong with you?
Again, there's nothing wrong with me.
It doesn't sound like that.
I have my own opinions, and these are my opinions, and my opinions are what I believe. And as I brought up, that when you go woke, you go broke, and we're going to walk with our money.
Your mind has been manipulated. I'm starting to understand now. You're very immature in your thinking, and we're talking about children today. We're talking about gun violence.
Bobby,
we're not talking about this. And by the way, let me just say, Brian, when you say woke, that's actually a compliment, because what woke means is that people like myself and Brian stand up to this foolishness, this idiotic foolishness that you're trying to spew, and people woke up and decided that they were not going to let the MAGAs and the Republicans and the liars of the world try to spew their incorrect information. That's what woke means. It means Brian's putting out facts while you're talking about your opinion of maybe a 12-year-old.
I'm going to give you some advice, Bobby, and I hope you take it. I suggest
I'll give you some advice.
Okay, well, I don't need your advice. No, I won't go to your Klan meeting tonight, but I will say this. I suggest you walk back into your trailer, in your trailer park. You fix that second tooth that you have. Stop dating your cousin and stay in your trailer and don't walk around in public, because quite frankly, Bobby, you're a disgrace to this country. You are a disgrace.
Yes, what you did today was dishonor people that were victims that had no reason to be victims. And by calling and clowning around and being an ass clown, you're not helping the situation.
Can I give you my advice?
You can give me all the advice you want.
For you and Brian, you're welcome to join us anytime. We're the smart people that are running the country.
I think you live alone, and I think your house probably has
Wait.
wheels.
What do you mean I'm in? I'm in what? What are you trying to get me in? Your sick world?
The Klan?
What are you talking about? Are you in the Klan? Are you really in the Klan?
A Proud Boy?
If you
are you a Proud Boy?
No, I'm not a Proud Boy. I'm a proud American. I'm proud of Trump.
Yeah, same thing.
Vote for him in 2028. The things that he's doing for America.
So just yes, then?
Are unheard of. They're fantastic. They're unbelievable.
So he should vote. So he should run for a third term. Is that what you're saying?
Well, yeah. I mean, hopefully.
Okay, well, that's intelligent. Yeah, that's very intelligent.
Point where there's no election, he'll still be the president.
You know what, Brian? It's very interesting to me when I talk about gun control on this show, and I talk every single time there's one of these mass shootings. I say the same thing over and over and over again, and I say we need to do something to address this issue. Bobby, I'm going to say this one time: God forbid something like this happens to one of your kids. And then you're listening. You don't know that. And then you're listening to a radio show and some ass clown like you calls into a show and starts talking about Cracker Barrel while you're grieving the loss of your son or daughter. God forbid, Bobby.
It wouldn't. Once someone tried someone at school, we'd all be down there. We'd all be down there.
Yeah, after they were shot. That makes no sense, Bobby.
You'd all
Bobby,
be down
you're disrespecting people on a day when this is an important issue to discuss. People's hearts are broken. There was a lot of violence, and you're coming here acting like an ass clown on a day where we should be honoring those people and doing something.
All right, I'm done.
To try to advance.
I'm done with Bobby.
The gun issue.
Bobby, you're not going to waste one more second of the show. You're an idiot. You're a disgrace and a pathetic excuse for a human being, and you can go to hell. And I mean that sincerely, and I don't say that to a lot of people. Bobby, you can go to hell. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Let's go to Gary calling out of Kentucky. What's up, Gary?
Yeah, Brian, I just have 2 points to make. Do you think there's just like one MAGA that really cares about the dead?
Okay, Gary, let's start over again. I just need you to lower your radio or wherever you're listening because there is a slight delay, and then I'd like you just to start over if that's okay, Gary. All right. Gary, as we bring you back up. Go ahead.
Do you think there's one Republican that really cares about the babies that are aborted, or they just use that as political talking point?
No,
No.
not one.
Nope.
Not one that I've seen. They have a chance every day to do the right thing, and they refuse to do the right thing because they're afraid of Trump.
Oh, yeah, it's public. The second thing, I hear you talk about trailer park crash, and I love you for that. I've lived in a trailer park for 50 years.
Well, it's all
I'm
due respect.
71.
It's all due respect to people like you. I'm talking about the trash in this country. I'm not referring to you, sir. So if you were offended, I apologize. I'm talking to trashy.
I'm not offended.
Yeah, you know the people I'm talking about.
Hey, you are correct. I live in. There's probably 100 trailers in this little park in Western Kentucky, and I'm probably the only Democrat listener. The rest of them, I mean, they worship Trump, and I mean, they're all MAGA.
You're right. I mean, they pretty much all worship Trump. I appreciate the call, my
Gary.
friend. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Let's go to Gemma. Gemma is next up on PTL. Hello, Gemma.
Hi. How are you guys?
Good. What's on your mind?
Well, I am actually very close to Las Vegas. I am living right now in Death Valley, California. I am a proud Mexican, born and raised in Mexico, but I got my citizenship 3 years ago in California. And I just want to, and I'm Catholic too. So I am so devastated with this news, the breaking news about these poor families, the school, the children, of what they went through. And I just want to add that the shooter was not Mexican, was not immigrant.
Yep,
that's a good point.
Was not, he wasn't brown. He was a white nationalist, and
I'm glad, my dear, I'm glad you brought this up because this is very important. Make no mistake about it. Donald Trump and his administration are making it sound like people that look like you are it's the only people that are committing crimes in this country. You know, they'll always find a way to blame it on a transgender or somebody brown or an immigrant. But the fact of the matter is, I assume it's another American, somebody else that's white. But what I want to focus on is not their race or religion like they want to do. I want to focus on guns, and I want to prevent these types of things from happening. And I don't care what the color of somebody's skin is. And I guarantee you the victims' families don't care either. That's what we should be talking about.
Exactly.
But Republicans don't want to do that. They don't want to talk about that. They want to demonize people like you. And I've had it with them. I've had it. I've lost my patience.
Yes. No, and I am with you. Like, when they are going to start acting, remember the tragedy in Texas, with all those kids killed in the school. Like, when is going to be the right time to act and make laws more tough to get guns?
Listen, I want.
They call this party called the party of the pro-life party. They are not pro-life, because if they really value life, they will go really against these guns, possessions, and all these laws about getting guns.
Yeah, well, let me be very clear on this one, my dear. Okay, and by the way, I appreciate your phone call. I want more people like you, intelligent people that have a moral compass, to be in this country. If I had it my way, every MAGA Republican would be deported. And I am not being facetious about that. If it was legal, I would want every MAGA supporter and every MAGA Republican to be deported to either Russia or Gaza on a one-way ticket, and you're not allowed to come back. And if you want to come back, it'll cost you a $5 million gold card. Let all these idiots get them the hell out of this country, and I want more people like you in this country. Good, hardworking people that come to this country, that work hard, that have empathy. Because these MAGA pieces of human scum do not. Get rid of all of them. Get them out of this country. I'll say it again. Deport them all. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Let's go to Tina. Tina is next up on PTL. Hi, Tina.
Hi, Brian. Hi, Leonard.
Hi, Tina.
My head is spinning with that Bobby call. I mean, I can't even believe that people like him can get on a phone and have no humility, no shame, and just spout these ridiculous things. And that's not even why I called.
You're right. He was
called,
terrible.
First of all, it's ridiculous. It's disgusting. It's despicable. I called because I think that the only way that we're going to find solutions to this problem, and you can give all kinds of ideas, but they're not going to work until we vote in the Democrats that want to change the laws around this issue. That's the only way.
Democrats are not perfect, but I will say this. There is one party that has been wanting to do something when it comes to gun control for decades.
Exactly.
And then there's another party that wants to make it more dangerous and put more guns out there in the streets. The Republican Party does not want to address this issue. And if they're going to use the excuse of, well, these are mentally deranged people. Okay, first of all, anybody that kills an innocent human being, there's something wrong with you and you're mentally deranged. That's obvious. That's number one.
That's
number
fact.
two, how does somebody who's mentally deranged get help if they don't have health care? That's why we want people on Medicaid. That's why we want people to get free access to health care. But these Republicans keep voting against it.
We have to all vote for those people that have a conscience and care about the safety of our children.
So what you're saying, Tina, is that we need to, I know we're upset today and we're angry, but starting tomorrow, how about you concentrate on voting? Don't get angry, vote. Don't get upset, vote. Because
I think we could do both.
I agree with you. That's the only way. Eventually, we're going to have to make a difference. So call your congressman, call your senator, call your local congressman. Keep calling their office, send them emails. They assure us, I know some congressmen, and they assure us that they read all the emails.
Yeah.
And someone on their staff does read them. So
you can,
like you said, vote.
You can vote and you can be angry. I'll be angry going to the ballot box and voting myself. Yeah. Let's go to Dave. Dave is next up on PTL. Hey, Dave, what's going on?
Hey, is this Brian?
Yes, sir. Go right ahead. Yes.
It's Dave. It's Dave the moron in California. You know who that is. That's what Leonard used to call me. It's all right. It's a joke. It's a joke.
Who is it?
So anyway,
go ahead.
Leonard. Remember, you can call me the way like this. That way you know who it is. So you ever heard the other guy from the radio show that he got sued? That he made up a lot of story on the Sandy Hook. Remember
You're talking about Alex Jones, right?
Alex Jones.
Yeah.
Remember that guy?
Of course I do. I've had his ex-wife on the show. He's a woman abuser. He's a liar, and he's a scumbag.
Yeah, he's an idiot. That's the key. So I really appreciate Leonard. I really appreciate you guys because you guys bring a good show. I'm still a supporter. I'm still a financial supporter on your show.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Why are you a moron? Why would I call you a moron?
I'm just laughing out, dude.
Did we call him a moron?
Because,
I haven't called anybody a moron.
He supports my show. He seems like a nice guy. I don't know.
I did.
I'm a great guy.
Oh, the producer's assuring me that I did.
That's great. But anyway, I'm going to donate $100 on Friday.
Wow.
So I just want to let you know $100.
Dave,
I'm going to donate on $100 in your show. I want to appreciate you guys.
Thank you, Dave.
If it wasn't for your show, we wouldn't have you guys. If it wasn't for the show, we wouldn't have you.
Well, Dave, that means a lot.
Thanks,
And because of people like Dave, we're able to do the show
I guess
every day.
I feel
Dave,
guilty about
Dave, you're
calling
not
a
a
name.
moron as far as I'm concerned. I'm going to have a talk
I guess
with
I have
Leonard.
to apologize for that. I don't remember.
Yeah, if you donate $100 to my show, you're the opposite
Usually
of a
I
moron.
say ass clown.
Yeah.
Moron's not really one
yeah,
of my
come
words.
on, man. 702-221. Thanks, Dave. 702-221-7283. Let's go to X. X is next up on PTL. Hello, X. What's on your mind today? Hi, X.
How are you doing today?
Good. What's on your mind today?
Like that guy, is his name Leonard or what's his name?
I'm sorry.
He's like a really good guy.
Who, me?
Leonard? Yeah, Leonard's my co-host today. So, X, what do you think about what's on your mind today? What do you think about this shooting?
It sucks. Regardless of what the gender is, regardless of their political affiliation, it's terrible.
So let's not get political, but what have Republicans done? I mean, I don't think this is political. I mean, what are some of the solutions that some Republicans have? Can you name me one logical solution that Republicans have come up with in the last 25 years to lower gun violence? Because I could list you about 20 things that Democrats have been trying to do. Can you name me one?
Not an expert, passing legislation, guns and stuff like that. I think what's his name, David Hogg, is more specialized in questions like that.
Okay, so you've called. Okay, but X, I understand, but we're talking about this horrible shooting. I'm sure you would agree. I agree with you. It sucks. It's terrible, and it's horrible. Innocent children losing their lives. It's horrible. You've said that you've thought Donald Trump has done a quote okay job. Can you please tell me what Donald Trump has done? What has Donald Trump done in regards to gun control issues, not just in the first 7 months of this administration, but in his first administration? What has he done to address the gun violence in this country to make things safer for you and me?
Like, when it comes to guns, like, I'm not 100% sure what anybody has done.
The reason why, okay, but the reason why you're not, okay, well, let me just inform you on this. Donald Trump has done nothing. After the Las Vegas shooting, where over 60 people lost their lives, he wanted to ban bump stocks. And then he had a meeting with the leader of the NRA, and then he changed his tune on that. Let me tell you, there's one party that brags about their A+ rating from the NRA. Those are called Republicans. There's another party, and Joe Biden put together the most comprehensive gun control bipartisan laws in the books in decades. Now, it wasn't enough because Republicans refused to do anything about this. The Democrats are the party that want to change the age to 18 to 21. They want an assault weapons ban back on the table. They want to get rid of these weapons of war. They want.
You have a trifecta?
Can I add?
Wait, hold on. What do you mean trifecta? What do you mean?
Like, didn't he have, like, Congress? Like, if he was empowered, then why couldn't he do it?
But Republicans are controlling the House and the Senate, just like when Barack Obama was president after the Sandy Hook shooting, he couldn't pass anything. There's one party.
That's not possible. Maybe the House, like, after the midterms. But
no, that's what's going on right now in Washington, D.C. Democrats aren't in power. Why do you make
even
excuses?
Back then, they impeached Trump and they couldn't get him prosecuted in the Senate because they didn't have the Senate.
Why do you make excuses for the Republican Party? Why don't you just say, okay, Brian, you're right. Republicans haven't done anything on this issue. They have blood on their hands.
And not going to.
Why do you make excuses? Why don't you say, Brian, you're right? Why is it always a but?
I'm not saying but I'm just saying, like, when he was the president, he had the House and the Senate. And then in the midterms, he lost the House.
Started his sentence with but. I just want to point that out.
You just started a sentence with but. Why don't you just admit that Republicans have blood on their hands and they want to put more guns on the streets? They pass bills to do so. They refuse comprehensive background checks and logical gun laws that would be put on the table. They've done nothing. Why, instead of saying but, starting a sentence with a but, why can't you say, Brian, you're right about that. Republicans have not done enough.
That topic. You brought that topic up. That wasn't even what I wanted to talk about. I'm not even, like, an expert on that. That's what I'm saying. Like,
all right. Well, clearly we agree on that.
Whatever you decide, whatever the experts decide, like, whatever, like, they
who are the experts?
Like,
you don't have to be an expert to know.
Why do you have to be an expert?
That there's too many guns. You don't need to be an expert to know that shooting children praying in a Catholic school is wrong. You don't need experts to tell you that's wrong. And you don't need experts to tell you that we need to do something about it. No expert needs to come and say, oh, by the way, we need to do something about this. What Brian is asking you is do you have one clear idea? Does any MAGA, does any Republican, conservative Republican have any good ideas on this? Have they brought up any legislation?
Everybody, listen, like, anybody is more informed, regardless of the party, than me.
So you're saying, so hold on a second. Hold on a second. We have just about more guns than any country in the world, 140 guns per 100 people. We also have top 3 worst gun violence in the world. Do you think those two are correlated? And by the way, I don't think you need to be an expert to answer this question. I think you have to have an IQ over 20, maybe 10. Do you think there might be a correlation between the amount of guns we have in this country and the gun violence? Do you think there's a correlation there? Yes or no?
What do you want me to answer? What do you want me to say?
I want you to answer the question in the way you want to answer it. Do you think there's a correlation between the amount of guns we have in this country and the gun violence? Yes or no?
It's possible.
It's possible. Hold on a second.
Like,
hold on a second. Well, let's just rewind, X. Hold on. Hold on. X. Let me repeat that.
I'm not informed on this subject.
Okay, so so let's try this one more time. We have more guns than people in this country, more guns than almost any other country in the world, and the most violence when it comes to guns than just about any other country in the world. And you're not willing to say, yes, they're correlated? You say it's possible. I guess it's
possible, man.
I guess it's possible that you could be a porn star too. It's possible.
And the Earth could be flat.
I mean, the Earth could be flat. I guess that's possible.
You're trying to get into like, personal assault.
No, yes, I am, because I don't.
But you're not even asking for critical thinking.
It's not that you're not informed on this issue. It's that you're not informed. Period. I'm going to get personal on you. You call into a radio show. We're talking about the school shooting that happened in Minneapolis. And you won't answer the most basic of questions. We have more gun violence than almost any country in the world because we have more guns than almost any country in the world. Not only do you not have to be an expert to know that, but you have to have an IQ and common sense and an IQ over 20. I'm sorry if you think I'm getting too personal with you. You're the one that decided to call into this show, and you're making yourself sound very ignorant, sir. I appreciate the phone call. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Wow, we had some special ones.
Well, his
calling
point
in today.
was, I don't know. That's why I'm calling. I have no information and I have no opinion.
Yeah, it's crazy. Let's go to Bill. Bill is next on PTL. Hello, Bill.
Hi, just wanted to call in about Leonard's comment and also the comment you made with the previous caller, and in reference to more guns. More guns do not make us safer. I absolutely believe that more guns make us less safe. And the reason for that is there are people like Leonard, there are people like myself who are former military, former law enforcement, that are trained on how to use guns effectively and correctly for all types of purposes, whether it be sporting or protection or whatever. However, I think that the more guns that we have, the more likely they are to fall into underage people that aren't supposed to have guns for whatever reason, maybe some prior convictions, or people that have some instabilities. And, the red flag laws were meant to take care of that. And I think we need to start looking at incremental changes, small changes that we can all absorb slowly and make a difference, because right now we're doing nothing. The Republicans are doing nothing. The Democrats are doing nothing. And even if they want to, they can't, because
Bill, let me just interrupt you, because I agree. But one thing I do agree with you, they are doing something, but I would agree that the Democrats may be trying to take too big a bite. And what I mean by that is they are trying to do legislation that is so large and affects so many different guns. And I agree with you. Maybe they should go after AK-47s first instead of AR-15s, by example.
I disagree with you, Bill. Bill, I disagree with you. I don't think the Democrats are doing nothing. I think for decades they've been trying to pass comprehensive background checks. For decades they've been trying to do something. So I absolutely disagree with you. There's one party. I mean, after the Sandy Hook shooting, Barack Obama and Joe Biden were pleading with Republicans to please come to the table and pass some bills and do something. Democrats, name me a prominent Democrat that has never talked about gun control and wanted to. I mean, they all do, and it's Republicans that say
I misspoke.
Thoughts and prayers.
I
fair enough. Fair enough.
What I meant by the Democrats are doing nothing is because they're being hindered by the Republicans.
Understood.
I didn't mean that they're not.
Understood.
Understood.
I
misspoke.
Understood.
But here's the thing. I think we need to make smaller changes, take a smaller bite of the apple. And I'm a Republican. I'm a moderate Republican. I'm not a MAGA. But I think that we need to be responsible and take smaller steps to make a difference. And I think more and more Republicans are going to start to get in line with that. The more MAGA goes away, I think the better.
Is he talking about MAGAs or conservative Republicans?
But Bill, what did they do about gun control after Columbine, before MAGA existed? What did they do then?
Well, you're right. You got a point.
That's the point I'm trying to make.
Uvalde.
Yeah, I mean,
Sandy Hook.
Before MAGA, we had Sandy Hook. I mean, I appreciate the call, Bill, by the way. Thank you. I have no faith in any Republicans out there that really want to do something about this issue.
I can't think of one, Brian. I've been racking my brain, and I can't think of one that actually supports any kind of change to any legislation.
No, I agree.
Could be wrong.
I agree. Let's go to Kim. Kim is next on PTL. Hello, Kim.
Hey, Brian. Hey, Leonard. It's Boo in chat. Brian, I love you, but I'm going to try to hold it together. I was a little disturbed by something you said earlier.
What's up?
Now, I've spoken to you before about mental illness, my son with mental illness. I'm glad Leonard is on today because I don't know if he's aware. I spoke to you about the last time my son was hospitalized, and the police department took my husband's gun card and told us that my son is now on a state registry where he cannot purchase a gun. So when you were talking about taking small bites out of things, I think that's where we need to go. Big legislation, we can't fight the NRA. I in my heart, I don't know how to fight the NRA, but I was upset earlier when you called. So I have sympathy on both sides of what happened today. I read the manifesto, saw the video that was posted on YouTube on this person's account before it was taken down. We have to start, everybody has to start from the beginning. referring to somebody with mental illness as a nut job or deranged is only negatively impacting these people. And
so listen, there's a lot of mentally ill people out there that don't want to kill innocent people and don't do that. I'm just speaking from the heart, and I'm not speaking about.
I understand.
Now, if I said every mentally ill person is a nut job, you would have a right to be very angry at me, but you know I would never say that. I think anybody with mental illness, regardless, anybody who kills any innocent person is mentally ill, but that's just me. I'm not going to have sympathy for them. I don't have sympathy for people that take innocent lives. Now, there are, like I said, there are plenty of mentally.
I'm not asking you.
Right. So I think anybody that goes, this is just my personal opinion, anybody that goes into a church and kills a bunch of innocent children is a nut job.
I would agree.
And listen, you can disagree with me on that. There are plenty of great people out there that are mentally ill that I have a tremendous amount of respect for, and I feel for them, and I want them to get the help that they need. But you're evil. Okay, you can be
and
mental.
that's a problem.
Now it'd be one thing. It'd be one thing. Let me make this clear. If he took his own life, I would be with you, and he didn't hurt anybody else. I'd say, man, that's a good point. I'd say, man, that's really sad. I wish he got the help that he needed, and I wish he was still here. But you see, he took his own life. But before he decided to take his own life, the coward decided to kill a bunch of innocent people. If you are mentally ill and you're depressed and you take your own life, my heart goes out to you and your family. I know people that have committed suicide, okay? But when you decide to kill innocent people first and then take your own life, to me, that's not a mental ill thing. That's just you're a selfish piece of human garbage and respect. A coward. You might be mentally ill, but you did it after you took down innocent people. And I think I could use other words, but nuts is one word I would use, my dear. That's just me.
I understand that, Brian, but I'm just coming from where I'm coming from, where I have seen, say, my son in a state where he wants to inflict on others pain that has been inflicted on him. And I've seen people call him a nut job. I've seen people call him deranged, and it doesn't make anything better.
It's one thing if somebody says it.
We need to make things better from the ground up.
I agree. And it's your son you're talking about. I want people like your son to get the help. But my understanding is your son didn't hurt anybody except himself.
Yeah, no, he has not. No.
Okay, so a lot of people say a lot of crazy things. That doesn't mean they're nut jobs. I would consider it's a fine line between somebody who's mentally ill that says they want to harm people and someone that actually does it.
Right. And to Leonard, is that something that you have heard of? So I was explaining to Brian that last March, my son was hospitalized, and my husband had a gun card for years, but no gun. We got rid of it when he was born. But last year when he was hospitalized and police had to come, they did take my husband's gun card and did tell me that there was a state registry for anybody that has been either the police have been called for mental crisis.
What state are what state are you talking about?
New Jersey.
Yeah, New Jersey's tough on guns. Yeah. I can see that happening, but it goes state by state. And many times if the child is old enough to do damage, 13, 14, older, and there are guns in the house and we go there for a mental illness issue and they get transported for treatment, we will most likely take the guns until we're sure that everyone's safe.
My dear, I hope your son gets the help that he
Kim.
deserves. With that being said, I have absolutely no sympathy for this son of a bitch, lunatic, and coward who took down innocent children before taking his own life. He is a coward, a murderer, and I hope he rots in hell. And I make no apologies for saying that. Because I try to put myself in their shoes, those families right now that are grieving. And the last thing those families want to hear is, well, listen, let's give this kid a little bit of, let's let him slide on this or let's feel for him too because he's mentally ill. No, I will not do that. There are plenty of mentally ill people that don't kill innocent people. 702-221-7283. Let's go to Will. Will is next up on PTL. What's up, Will?
Hey, Brian. Hey, Leonard.
Hey, Will.
Honestly, I'm just going to pretty much make a statement and have you guys elaborate because what happened today has happened too many times in this country for too long. I have children in the school system, have nieces and nephews, and this is something that never goes away. And I live in a state that's very safe in terms of gun control. I feel that there needs to be wholesale changes. And unfortunately, like you guys have said in the last hour, Republicans do nothing to control the gun problem in this country. We do not need the amount of guns in this country.
Yeah.
If I'm a gun owner, and if I could guarantee that no other child will ever get harmed by a gun again, I will gladly hand it in.
What do you think about this? I want to ask you a question because we have a YouTube super chat comment here from Reaver, and I want to ask the caller and Leonard this. Reaver says there are two kinds of people who buy guns: people who buy a gun for when they have to use it, and people who buy a gun for when they get to use it. The latter is why more guns can't make us safe. I sort of agree with that to an extent. What do you guys think about that?
For me, Will, that's a little too black and white because that's not how human beings operate. You can go and purchase a gun with completely good moral motives, and then sometimes sitting there with a loaded gun, staring at it, looking in the mirror, whatever these mentally ill people do, or imagining in your mind, or even trying to mimic a video game with all the violence in a video game. And so I don't know if the initial motivation is exactly the reason why they do this, but there are plenty of people out there who purchase guns who can't wait to use them. I think that's kind of what you mean.
Yeah, I agree. I have it, and honestly have it for protection for my family. And again, I don't live in a state that if somebody walks on your property, that you can go and shoot them. You literally have to be in defense of your life or your family.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that stand your ground stuff either. Obviously, if somebody is trying to break into your home, then that's different. But, there have been instances where, I remember, I forgot the story of the young black kid who I think he was like maybe 9 or 10 years old. And he was knocking on the door of the wrong house, and an old white guy, I'm sure a Trump supporter, shot him. I think that guy went to jail and now he's dead. But yeah, I agree with you. And I think that the stand your ground laws are very, very, there's a lot of gray area there, and I'm not comfortable with some of them. If someone's breaking into your house, then your life is in jeopardy. So I have no problem with that.
By the way, Brian, the news has reported that the guns were purchased legally. Mm-hmm. The rifle, the shotgun, and the pistol were legally purchased in Minnesota by the shooter.
Shocker. But why don't you guys keep talking about Tim Walz and tampons? Keep calling him Tampon Tim.
He was in his 20s. Was 22 or in his 20s? Why does he need an AR-15, a shotgun, and a pistol? Why does he need to arm himself?
I'll tell you why.
Hundreds of rounds of ammo.
So that the NRA can continue to make money and continue to fund these idiot a-hole Republicans that are running for office. That's why, because that's where the money's going. 702-221-7283. Let's go to Kava. Kava next on PTL. Hello, Kava. Hi, Kava. Are you there? 702-221-7283 is the number to call if you want to be a part of the conversation. Let's go to Jeremy. Jeremy is next up on PTL. Hey, Jeremy, what's going on?
Hey, Brian. Hey, Leonard. How you doing?
Good.
So I'm calling because people like Bobby, when I hear them, it really grinds my gears because I'm a teacher. I'm 34 years old. I've been a teacher since I got out of college. It's all I know how to do. And when people like Bobby are like, well, if we just arm the teachers, that solves the problem. And I can tell you right now, that doesn't solve the problem. Leonard, you worked in law enforcement. Can you answer this? How much time do you need to spend in law enforcement practicing with firearm certification, training for situations of armed shooters and stuff? How much time do you guys have doing that to get you ready for those kinds of situations?
Hundreds of hours. And don't forget, it's not just shooting at the range and how to manipulate the gun and how to aim. We have to learn criminal law, civil law, federal law, and the 14th Amendment, 4th Amendment, things like the 5th Amendment. We have to learn what people's rights are. So when we engage, we know how to properly administer justice without just arbitrarily shooting people. And
exactly.
I know in this state, it's like a 10-hour class. If you buy a gun, it's a 10-hour class.
Yeah.
They sign off on it. They make you shoot a little bit, and that's it. And comparatively to police officers, over the years, we have to qualify every year. So literally thousands of hours to answer your question.
And I appreciate
exactly, and that's my point. And that's my point in all of this is you're expecting teachers who, and I live in Massachusetts. I live in a very gun law strict state. But that being said, I've never spent a moment of my life learning how to be a teacher, spending any time doing that. And here's why, and I'm going to maybe put on my tinfoil hat for a second. Here's why I believe people like these MAGA Republicans and Bobby and congressmen and senators and the NRA say if we just arm teachers, that's going to solve the problem. It's twofold. Number one is it takes away the responsibility from them and it puts it on us. It's not our problem that kids are getting shot. It's your problem that kids are getting shot. That's your problem, teachers. And two, it's because they hate us. It's more of an attack against teachers. Republicans do not support our teachers. They do not support education.
They do not
and they're
like
more than willing to let us die for it. We all watched that video of Uvalde. Trained officers in tactical gear with weapons did nothing. And they were trained. They had all that training, Leonard, that you said they went through.
It was embarrassing.
They did not
It was
act.
an embarrassing
And they
moment.
did
That
not
is
act.
not how we're trained.
But they expect me to act. They expect me with no gear and just a sidearm.
That's a good
put my life on the line to face this. BS. That's what I say. BS.
I appreciate your call.
Thank
and
you
I'm,
for the call. That
I'm-
was good information.
I'm with you, my friend, 150%. No doubt about it. Let's go to Carlos. Carlos is next on PTL. What's up, Carlos?
Hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing, Brian? This is, I just wanted to say that actually 2 points. First of all, there's a nation in I can't remember the name, but off the top of my head, but they have more guns than America, but they have no gun violence.
Mm-hmm.
And two, actually, it is political because everybody knows that the Republicans are on the NRA's payroll. And that's why we're not going to have any gun reform because everybody knows that money talks and we all know what walks. And the thing is, though, I mean, we've had gun violence since like Columbine and nothing has happened. These Republicans just say thoughts and prayers or, oh, well, it's migrants or the transgenders just because they want to make sure it's a distraction. And the fact of the matter is because they just want to make money off of guns. And we've had thousands of people killed every year. So, yeah.
Carlos, can I just bring up a stat real quick? So according to a CNN article on Google search, no other countries have more guns than America. The United States has the most guns in the world by a significant margin. And 3.93 million civilian-owned firearms as of 2018. That was 7 years, more than 7 years ago. And we account for 46% of the world's civilian-owned guns, despite having less than 5% of the entire population. That's ridiculous.
I agree. If you're just joining us, obviously the breaking news and the tragic news of what has transpired this morning in Minneapolis, we know of at least 2 children that have lost their lives and were killed at this in Minneapolis during Catholic school mass to mark the first week of school. Police are calling this a deliberate act of violence. The shooter also took his own life. Multiple injuries, at least 17 people injured, most of them children as young as 6 years old. Officials are saying that the shooter fired through windows. A very chaotic scene, and it's very sad. Haven't we had enough, America? Haven't we had enough?
Can I ask you a question, Brian?
Yeah.
What if, along with the universal background check, if the gun store itself does not follow the law, that they could be held liable for the shooting? You think that's going too far?
No, I don't. I've had enough. I've had enough of these people that make money off of selling guns that kill people. I have had enough.
And if they don't follow the rules and they don't follow the laws, and we have a universal background check, then they have to
go to jail. You lose your license and you go to jail.
It
I'm
could
with
be
you.
civil, it could be criminal, but it could be both.
Agree. 100% I'd be with that, Leonard. Agree. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. I believe we have John on the line next. Hi, John.
Hey, guys. Hey, did Churchill Johnson come out and give us his thoughts and prayers yet?
No, but I'm sure he will, John. I'm sure that little weasel.
Oh.
I'm sure he will. That weasel.
Who did he say?
He is a freaking weasel.
Mike Johnson, the weasel,
God.
Mike Johnson, who monitors the porn that
That
his
is
son watches.
religious, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
He's a
PDF
Christian.
files that his son watches.
Yep.
Good Christian. Oh, another thing. I just want to mention that North Korean style meeting he had yesterday for 3 hours, and they showed him unveil his Kim Jong-il picture on the side of a building. That was awesome. Are we living in North Korea yet, guys?
Well, they put his picture on the side of the Labor Department as
Yep.
bigger than
Sure
Kim
fuck
Jong-un.
Sorry about the language.
You're good, my friend. Listen, I appreciate the phone call. Who is asking for prayers? Mike Johnson. So my producer has put up Mike Johnson's tweet, and I know many of you will be able to shock to say our prayers, if I'm getting this right. Let let's see, where were we here? Our prayers are with the victims and their families, the children, the families. So again, you have Mike Johnson talking about prayers. Meanwhile, the children and the people who were shot, who were injured, and some of whom died, were literally praying. And Mike Johnson says, "Pray."
How about some legislation?
You right?
How about that?
Religious zealot idiots.
He's supposed to be a Christian, Brian, but you know what? He doesn't care about the poor or the sick.
No.
He doesn't care about good Christians.
Listen, let me tell you,
he doesn't have empathy.
Let me tell you something. Greg Abbott calls himself a Christian, right?
Yeah, no.
The day of the Uvalde, Texas shooting, he had a fundraiser dinner that night. Did he cancel it? They didn't even count the bodies in the school, and he was counting his money at that fundraiser, and he refused to cancel.
He's a bad guy. He's a bad
horrible person. 702. And by the way, Mike Johnson's right there with him. 702-221. I tell you, take those two guys, lock them in a cage together, and show them gay porn 24/7. That's what I would like.
Alligator Alcatraz.
Yeah.
How about down there?
Actually, I said show them gay porn, but they would probably enjoy that. So I don't know. We'd have to probably figure something else out. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Not that there's anything against that. It's not my thing. But I do think Mike Johnson would enjoy that. We don't want him to enjoy himself too much. 702-221-7283. Let's go to Bill. Bill is next up on PTL. Hi, Bill. What's going on?
Hi, guys. How you doing?
Good.
Yeah, this killing, it's really getting sickening. And what's even more pitiful is it is so common, I don't think it's affecting people. Now, my next question, maybe you guys can answer it. What is the fascination of guns? I mean, I understand shotguns for hunting. I understand rifles for hunting. I understand pistols for protecting your family. But when you go and buy an assault rifle, shouldn't that bring up some kind of alarm? Why? And if you want it, do that.
Well, let me ask you.
I'm 70, and I'm
gonna give you a couple different answers. Okay. Why are so many people obsessed with the guns? And by the way, we're not talking about, a single mom who buys a pistol to defend herself. I'm not talking about those people, or someone who buys it, for defense. Have you ever heard the saying, small wiener buys a sports car? Have we ever heard that before?
Yeah.
I haven't.
Yeah. Well, Don Jr., for example, let's talk about Mushroom Don Jr. He goes and he kills innocent deer.
He must have a lot of sports cars.
Yeah. Again, small wiener Don Jr. in a sports car, So I think a lot of people that are obsessed about their guns, or these idiots from the Proud Boys that dress themselves like G.I. Joe that have never served the country, they're very insecure with themselves. So when they feel what a gun feels like and they have a gun on them, it makes them feel important. It makes them feel strong when really they're weak. So I think that's the main reason why people, I think, like that buy
He's
guns.
talking about people who have multiple safes in their house loaded with guns.
Right. Well, they're nuts. They're crazy. Why do people hunt deer and cut off their heads and mount them in the garage? Because they're crazy. They're nuts, and it makes them feel powerful. Why do men sometimes abuse women? Why do men disrespect women? Why do men abuse women? Because they're the ones that have the issues in their brain. They're sick people, and it makes them feel good. It makes them feel a sense of power. Why are there bullies in schools? Because really they're insecure with themselves. It's the same thing with these idiots, these middle-aged men and women who buy all these guns and they make love to their guns every night because they're sick, insecure people. That's why.
Like the MAGA caller who called in and he's clowning about
Cracker
Barrel, when clearly we should be talking about the children and the gun violence and what we can do about it. And he's clowning.
By the way, for the record, I don't own a sports car. And to my knowledge, I don't own a gun.
I used to own sports cars, but I don't know if that counts.
All due respect, Leonard.
I had 2 or 3 sports cars at one time.
Hey, we'll let people think what they want about that. But I do not own a sports car.
I'm Italian. So.
Well, I don't know. I have a Dodge Charger. Is that?
Oh yeah,
that's
that's a big dog car right there. Yeah,
I guess I do. I don't know. Boy, I'm gonna have to.
I owned a few of those.
You have to talk to my therapist about that. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. We're also in the YouTube super chat. If your questions and comments, if you want them to be read live on the air, let's go to Malik. Malik is next up on PTL. Hi, Malik.
Yeah, how you doing?
Good.
I'm wondering why every time there's a school shooting or every time some young white boy kill a lot of people, they talk about mental illness, but they're talking about law and order when black people ain't even doing nothing.
Was he white? Did they confirm that on the news?
Yes, so he was white.
Every time, every time
You're right.
The school shooting. It's a young white boy, and he's got a mental illness, or it's a lone shooter.
You're right.
It's not no lone shooter. They got all kind of hate groups out there.
Well, first of all, if we're going to talk about, I agree with you, Malik. First of all, if we talk about the demographic of most, not all, but most of these mass shooters, they're usually young white boys. That's usually what they are.
98%.
I don't disagree with you.
Angry, frustrated.
Yeah. Number two, you are correct that usually when an African American commits a crime, they usually never talk about mental illness. They usually, Fox News will make it seem like black people are the only people committing crimes in this country. If you put on
Fox News, all of the news.
Listen, this is where America's at right now. This is where MAGA America is at right now. If you're a white supremacist who beat a police officer on January 6th, you're a hostage and you're a patriot. But if you're somebody that went to a Black Lives Matter protest holding a sign, somehow you're a thug. That's how these people think.
Yeah, I know.
Malik, here's the difference. If that shooter...
Why is it all the time? My question is, why is it every time? Not sometimes. Well, every time.
Let me just say, if that shooter had survived, he'd be going to prison for the rest of his life. So it's not really about mental illness. It's about crime. He's a criminal. He's not going to go to an institute and be tended to because of his mental illness. He would be going to prison because you know what? It's a crime. You can call it mental illness or whatever because the wiring is not right. We understand that. But he's a criminal.
I'm going to give you another example, my friend, and you could tell me, I think you'll agree with me. Do you remember the case of, and I talked about this on Pierce Morgan, Shiloh, the despicable woman who called a 5-year-old child the N-word? Do you remember that story?
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay, so she's raised more than $1 million in GoFundMe money, which, by the way, I think is absolutely and positively disgusting. Now, do you remember the story of the black kid who stabbed a white classmate and he's getting it? Well, I don't know if that's true or not. You're innocent until proven guilty, but all the MAGA people out there have a problem with him getting donations just so he could have a legal defense. Now, listen, if he's found guilty of murder and anyone's still donating to him, I would have a problem with that. But right now, we don't know. It could have been self-defense. So they have a problem with people making those donations. But do you notice they don't have a problem with people donating to this despicable woman who called a child the N-word? Do you notice that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I notice all of that. I know it is racial, and I don't think all so-called white people, I don't want to call them white people. I don't think all white people are evil. But from what I'm looking at, the president, the whole government, they say there's no white supremacy, and we've been oppressed for 400 years. Something is wrong. And I don't know if they think we blind. Oh, man, we're conscious. We can see what's going on. They don't want us to be awoke. What do you mean? You don't want us awake? You want us to stay asleep?
There's nothing wrong with woke.
Something is wrong.
I don't think that's a negative.
With the system that's saying that they don't want us to be awake. We woke. You can't put us back to sleep.
And they're angry about us being woke. They're
angry. Great call, my friend. My friend, great phone call. I'm with you 150%. You know that. Okay, who are we going to next year? The guy that's named Democrat MAGA. This should be interesting. Hello, Democrat MAGA.
Hey, guys. I'm here to speak truth, justice, the American way. And
are you sober today? Well, let me just ask you, are you sober today?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. That's a good start.
Okay, so let's start.
3 o'clock.
All right. So Democrat MAGA, we're talking about obviously this horrible situation.
And he's sober. That's good.
So Democrat MAGA, we're talking about this horrible situation of this school shooting that took place in Minneapolis where children have lost their lives. What are your thoughts on this?
Yes. Okay, so my thoughts are actually, I am 100% anti-gun. I don't own a gun. No guns are allowed in the house, period. But my question to you guys is, during Biden's presidency, he owned the House, the Senate, and a liberal Supreme Court.
Sure.
As did one of Obama's terms.
Yep.
So what did they do?
Sure, I'll answer that. I'll answer that, and I will answer that. I will answer that. Joe Biden had the most bipartisan gun legislation in decades. How is it possible that you don't know that? How can you be that ill-informed to ask me a question like that? Let me repeat. He had the most gun legislation, bipartisan, in decades put on the books. He did everything he could.
Weapons ban?
He couldn't do it. Do you know why?
He banned certain weapons, certain things he did ban.
I'm going to lose it. This guy. Hold on a second.
Go ahead.
I'm just asking.
I know you're.
Somehow got through the assault.
I don't understand how you don't know this. If you don't follow the news and you're living under a rock or you watch Newsmax, I don't understand how you don't know this. He had the most bipartisan gun legislation in decades. He couldn't put on a full what you're talking about when it comes to assault weapons ban because the Republicans wouldn't allow it to go through.
What he
How could they
did
not
was
allow it if you have the Senate and the House? How
hold on
you
a
would
second.
win every vote.
Hold on a second, MAGA. Hold on 1 second. So
Okay.
during the Biden presidency, you could not purchase a silencer without being cleared by the ATF, and you had to pay $200 for a tax stamp. In that same time period, you could not buy a short-barreled rifle like an AR-15 pistol without having a background check by the ATF with fingerprints and paying it for a $200 stamp. During that same time, he tried to ban magazines that had a capacity over 10 rounds.
Correct.
And you know who stopped it? You know who stopped that from going through? The Republicans, led by the MAGA. So you should be factually accurate when you call. He did have legislation that was pushed through and successful.
But if you bring anything like Trump does now, how does it get not voted through if you own the House and the Senate? It will pass. Anything you put will pass.
He doesn't understand how you put a bill together in the first place. Joe Biden every single day talked about how he wanted to ban assault weapons, and he needed a bipartisan. He needed enough votes to do so. I would also say, what are your solutions?
Can I give him a quick?
Democrats didn't vote for it.
Can I give you a quick example? If you're in a committee and you have legislation, and you have a majority by one of Democrats and Republicans, if for some reason that legislation doesn't pass out of committee, it doesn't even go to the floor for discussion. Do you understand that?
But why, if every Democrat would show up and vote?
So you're saying that everybody had to vote along party lines on every bill. And remember, Republicans parked things that were not relevant, like taxes and other types of things, legislation they wanted passed. What they would do is they would park that legislation in a bill or amend the bill on gun control so that it had more items in it that benefited the Republicans. You understand how that's done? A
Democrat could bring a bill to the House with their own, however they want to word it, bring a bill and have it voted on.
And they did, and they passed bipartisan, but they were taking what they could get because the lobbyists from the NRA were hitting up everybody and threatening to primary Democrats to go into their districts and run Republicans against them, to stop giving them money. So it's not as simple as we have the majority, we can pass legislation.
And I don't
it's
know
not
how
that
the vote
simple.
went. Were there Democrats that voted no against any of Biden's gun policies?
Are you talking about a clean gun bill? Or are you talking about a bill that has amendments from the Republicans? Because before a bill goes to the floor, they have the opportunity to put amendments. And if you put BS amendments in there that the Democrats don't want, they're not going to pass the bill. You have to understand this is a complex process. This is not black and white, A and B. We have the majority. Let's pass everything we want to pass. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah, but I guess if that was a super priority, I guess you would take a little bit of a loss on another end in order to get the win on the gun. So there must have been some Democrats that didn't vote.
Not true. Not true. There were amendments.
He didn't go on the. Sorry to interrupt you, Brian. Right. He did not go. Biden did not go on the news after the shooting at the school and say thoughts and prayers. And he said all that. But what he said is, folks, we got to get serious. We got to get serious about legislation. We got to put a stop to this. We have to address gun violence. It was number 2 or 3 in his priorities. And at that time, it was the number 1 priority. I think you're not informed.
Okay. Let me ask MAGA. I'm not going to call you Democrat MAGA because I don't think you're a Democrat. So let me ask you, MAGA, can you name me one thing that Republicans have done in the last 25 years that you think have reduced the gun violence in this country?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm with you on that.
Okay. So we agree.
You're right.
So we agree that Republicans have done nothing. In fact, they've made it, would you agree, they've made it more dangerous, and the crime with guns have been worse because they make it easier to give people access to guns. Would you agree with that?
I guess, but there are how come certain states with the strictest gun laws still have the most gun shootings?
That's not necessarily true. It happens.
Well, New York and Chicago have strict gun laws, more so than I would say
Okay, that's not accurate, because what you're talking about is there are big cities like Chicago who are in the millions. They have millions of people, and of course they're going to have more shootings because they have millions of people. Per capita,
though.
They are not number 1 per capita. Number 1 per capita, I believe, is Alabama or Louisiana. I'm not sure.
All right. So
It's a Midwest state.
so why do you call yourself MAGA then when you openly admit that Republicans have literally done nothing to address the second leading cause of death in children? Why would you call yourself a MAGA then?
Well, here's the thing: Democratic MAGA. So I am the 80% of the country.
What?
10% are wacko left. 10% are wacko right. The rest of the country's right in the middle, like me.
I disagree.
I can see
That's
the
not
gun
true.
side.
That's
and I
not
can
true.
see-
That's not accurate.
not true. That is so not
That is
accurate
not
what you are
accurate.
saying. 10% or
Then
this
why-
way, 10% or the other way. Almost every single Republican, let me repeat, almost every single Republican in office does nothing when it comes to this issue. And the overwhelming majority of Republicans are okay with that. Overwhelming. I don't see Republicans out there shouting after a mass shooting, Republicans, please do something about gun control. It's always the Democrats. You're wrong. Look at the Republican
Well,
National Convention.
Wouldn't it be the exact same thing you said that the Republican, you said the Democrats would be worried about being primary, worried about money against them. It's the same thing on the other side. It's
With
the
what?
exact
With
same
what
thing.
issue? With what issue? Tell me.
What I said
No,
with,
it's not an issue on the
With
other
what
side.
issue? Hold on. With what issue? With what issue are Democrats doing that with? Give me the issue.
Well, I said on the guns, and you said they wouldn't vote 100% party lines because they.
What are you
primary
talking about?
The NRA.
What are you talking about? Have you ever seen a Democrat in office that bragged about their A+ rating from the NRA? Have you ever seen that?
I was talking about how a bill gets passed.
Democrat MAGA or MAGA. Have you ever seen a Democrat campaign off of their NRA rating? Name me one.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, of course you don't know because there aren't any. So don't you give me this crap that Democrats do.
I don't know every statistic of
No,
it. Yeah.
you don't. I
Well,
don't.
then you
I don't-
shouldn't come on and
I don't
talk
think,
about statistics.
I don't think you know any statistic. Okay, you don't know any statistic.
He was
10%
making
10%
stuff
of
up.
the left and 10% of the right, and everybody else agrees with. No, they
No,
don't.
that's not true.
No, they don't. Stop it. You're stop it. Don't call yourself a Democrat. I'm going to call you MAGA moron. Okay, call in as MAGA moron, and then you're welcome to call back in. Let's go to Don. Don is next on PTL. What's up, Don?
Hey guys, how you doing?
Good.
Hi, Don.
Hey, yeah, this is some tragic stuff, but I also think we need to take a step back and stop being hyperbole. How many times when you look at these things going on and we propose the concept that we're going to control guns in the public, how many times is that going to fail before we finally understand you're not going to regulate this? You can't regulate.
So what are your
guns in the
solutions?
Well,
public.
that's not
You can't-
hyperbole.
So-
That's not what we said.
That's not what I said
That's
either.
not what we
Yeah,
said.
that's not what we said, Don.
If
but-
we did say that,
yeah.
it would be hyperbole,
Yeah,
but that's not what we
I
said.
I gave you 5 or 6 different things that that I think would help lower the gun violence in this country.
concrete, factual.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Don,
I
what?
understand, but that's what
Okay.
you think. That's what you say you think.
Okay. So what are your
I'm trying to
solutions?
tell you that.
So tell me.
Education, obviously. We have so watch. Do you want to know?
Education. So you think all these guns in this country, but the gun violence would be lowered if people were educated? What are you talking about?
Do you want me to explain it to you? You're gonna
Please,
interrupt.
please. But I'll interrupt if I want
So
to
you
because it's
thought-
my show and not yours. But go ahead.
So, well, I'm just trying to be respectful. That's all. That's all.
Well, you're not being very respectful when you put words in my mouth and you say we
Well, he
want to
called it
control
hyperbole,
everybody.
and we didn't say that.
You're not being. You're not being.
apologize.
Well,
I
okay. Thank you for
I apologize.
apologizing, but you can understand why I would get a little bit irritated when you start the conversation by claiming we said something we didn't say. But go ahead, sir.
Okay. I apologize for that. That's not what my intent was. However, do you agree that our National Guardsmen are some of the finest in the world?
Finest in the world at what?
What they do.
And what do they
are
do?
Citizen soldiers. Our citizens. I'm not talking about the active duty component. I'm talking about our National Guardsmen. Which each state has.
We support our National
What
Guard.
does that have to do with gun control?
Supporting your National
I'm trying
Guard
to
is
explain it.
not an issue, but
Okay.
go ahead.
So please explain what that has to do with gun control.
So instead of thinking of gun control, we go through education. We contact our National Guard, and everybody starts training and learning.
Okay,
what
so
a
let me
gun
get this
is.
right. Let me understand.
All of it.
Don,
From
let me
basics to what they're-
understand. Let me just understand what you're saying. You're saying if people were educated on guns, Columbine doesn't happen, Sandy Hook doesn't happen, the shooting in Minneapolis doesn't happen, the Las Vegas shooting doesn't
Well, this
happen.
kid today, if he was educated
you
on guns, it wouldn't have happened.
He
Is
was
that what he's
educated
saying?
on guns. Obviously, he knew how to use them. He bought 3 different guns and he knew how to use them. You don't think the shooter in Las Vegas, who had about 30 different guns with him, wasn't educated on guns with the thousands of rounds of ammunition? No, sir. With all due respect, that's ridiculous. There are plenty of mass murders in this country where you have people that are extremely educated and knowledgeable on how to use guns. Now, I'll agree with you on this. I think there should be a mandatory class for everybody on how
I
to
agree
use
with
guns.
that.
I don't have a problem with that, Don. But if you're going to make the argument that these mass shootings wouldn't happen if these mass shooters were educated on guns, I find that to be ridiculous.
Yeah, education is not going to equal less gun violence.
I never
There's
said
no
that.
way.
What I assume.
Okay, so how do we stop?
At all.
Okay, so let's address the issue. How do we stop or
Okay, so
most
watch.
these mass shootings?
So I just said stage one, step one. Okay, step two. Before we even get to step two, who do people call when there's a mass shooting? They call a cop for a gun, do they not?
Yeah.
What I'm advocating is that you have that gun in place with people that are educated and paramountly
Police
astute,
officers
knowing that. Guess what?
Okay, that's the same. That's the same thing you just said.
Yes. Do all of these things happen? Yes. But at the same time, you mitigate how many people are casualties when the others around there are doing the exact same thing you're saying. I've got 911 in my pocket for you. You're my brother and you're my sister. No, I don't want to do this. But I've been trained to know that this isn't what I want to do, but I have to.
So let me understand you, Don. Don, let me understand you real quick. So you don't think we should have an assault weapons ban? You don't think we should raise the age to 18 to 21? You don't think we should allocate more funds for people that are mentally ill? You don't think you should have to re-register your guns? The number one thing on your list is getting educated on weapons?
Yes.
Okay, well,
so you don't think a universal background check would help and holding gun stores liable for the violence because they didn't do a proper check? You don't think that's a good piece of legislation? You think education is the key?
First of all, you could also make the argument that if you have a bunch of psychos out there that are mentally ill and you educate them on how to use guns, you could say that that could make things worse. I don't have a problem with like a 1 or 2 hour gun class, but for this guy to say that, you know, all these assault weapons, sell them to whoever you want as long as you're educated. So what does that mean? Does that mean that if you learn how to run a tanker or you know how to use a grenade, should we allow people to use grenades? As long as you're educated on how to use a bomb, should we let anybody have bombs? Don, do you see where I'm getting at here? Your logic makes absolutely no sense. Let's go to Michelle. Michelle was next up on PTL. What's up, Michelle?
Oh, hello. How are you guys?
Hi, Michelle.
Hey.
So I'm calling from South Carolina, and it's been like a really, really a lot day. Like just being a blue dot in the South and being raised by like a MAGA dad who also he claimed to be like a white supremacist. I can kind of understand how like I would question his like messed up thinking. And I've gotten together some things of like why he and other people think the way they do, I guess.
Well, there's a lot of reasons, and unfortunately, my dear, we're running out of time, but you're welcome to call back another show and give those reasons. I think there's a lot of different reasons why people do what they do. And you're right. It's a very sad day, and I hear it in your voice, my dear. I appreciate the call. It wouldn't be a show without the MAGA destroyer, Darlene, right, Leonard?
Oh, is Darlene on the line?
What's up, Darlene?
Hey, Brian, and hey, Leonard,
Hi,
you know
darling.
you're my favorite, of course. Okay, I'm not going to be funny now. I want to speak, if you don't mind, you guys, for a minute. I just want to say it real quick. I'm speaking in behalf of the children and the 2 adults that got murdered today by guns. What the hell is going on, America? Where is your heart? Because we are sick of you. And if you are a MAGA, we hate you and you get the hell out of our country. I'm sorry, guys. I'm so upset over this.
Darlene is fired up today.
Darlene, we all are. I hope you have a good weekend.
Don't forget to say a prayer for them, Darlene.
Darlene, I love you, and I appreciate you calling.
I love you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Darlene.
Wow.
So for the people wondering, obviously an emotional show today, and we're covering this shooting in Minneapolis. Leonard is going to hold the fort for me tomorrow and Friday. Yes, we will have a show. The great Paul Lance will be doing the show with Leonard tomorrow.
Paul and I will be here.
I am taking a vacation for a few days. Do people really want to know what I'm doing? Do
Absolutely.
they really want to know what I'm doing?
I want to know.
Now I'm going to name drop. I will be having lunch with my
Joe Walsh,
very good friend, Vivica A. Fox, the beautiful Vivica A. Fox. I'll be meeting up with her in L.A.
Wow, that's big.
My musician idol growing up as a kid, one of my favorite bands growing up as a kid is Filter. Richard Patrick, the lead singer, did this show. I'm going to be hanging out at his studio tomorrow.
You can't get Vivica on the show?
Oh, she's done the show before. She's done it twice.
Tell her she can call tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if she'll do that. I'd have to be here for that. So I'm hanging out with Richard tomorrow. I'm seeing Vivica Saturday. I'm hanging out with the very beautiful Nicole Mitchell. That's going to be a very difficult job, but I'm going to have to hang out with her on the beach all day Friday. So that's going to be very, very difficult. Seeing a few 90s bands. Hoobastank and Everclear. I feel
so bad for you.
I'm seeing them Saturday night. Well, I got to drive a lot. That's going to suck. And one of my friends, Juvie, who happens to be in San Diego today, I'm having dinner with her tonight. So,
that is a terrific. You can plan a better weekend.
Yeah.
than that.
So I'm going to have a good time. But as I said, Paul Lance and Leonard are going to be holding the fort for me. They're going to be hosting the show Thursday and Friday. I appreciate both of them very much for doing that. Leonard, I know you'll do a great job. And
we'll do our best.
I probably won't be calling in because I'm on vacation.
Yes, you will.
No, I don't
Yes,
think I
you
will.
will.
I don't
All
think I
right.
will.
I will bet
All
you
right.
a McDonald's Happy Meal that you will call in.
That's fair. That's worth like $14 at least these days. Leonard, love all you guys. I will see all you guys back on
Thank
Monday.
you, everyone.
But please tune in and support Leonard and Paul because they'll be doing the show Thursday and Friday, and obviously they'll open up the phone lines. Have a great day, everybody.
Hey, everybody. Are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn?